بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Teacher Adil Ahmed presents Grade 5, the English Word Course, Unit 7, Lesson 1, Reading page 76. Of course, with our students of Grade 5, we are going to discuss Unit 7, which is tackling the history of newspapers and the appearance of the newspapers and the stage or the steps the newspaper passed by. So at first, let's listen to the vocab of the lesson. Then after listening to the vocab, let's have the definitions and then practice our activities for today. I hope you will enjoy this lesson and this program in particular. So let's start.
Listen to the following words: mistake, search, magazine, editor, decided, rescue, injured, team, press, scene, squad.
Of course, the lesson is entitled Hold the Front Page. When we have a piece of information which is important and attractive and it's written in a good way, the editor of the newspaper says hold the front page. It means put it in the front page. Here are the words: mistake, search, magazine, editor, decided, rescue, injured, team, press, scene, quote. Let's know more about the meaning by having the definitions.
Listen to the following definitions and try to find the words under the curtains. A wrong action or statement. To find something or someone. Get someone out of a danger. Hurt in an accident or attack.
After listening to these definitions, we are going to discover them and find the words under the curtains here. A wrong action or statement. It's mistake. A mistake means a wrong action. Okay, something which is done not in a better way, but in a worse way, of course. To find something or someone, what does it mean? As we find something in Google, for example, to search, it's a very famous word. Okay, get someone out of a danger. Out of danger, sorry. It's rescue. Or, okay, hurt in an accident or an attack, it's injured. Someone who is injured in his hand, has some wounds in his hands or legs or and so on. So it's injured. Now, after listening and seeing the definitions, let's discuss these questions in a simple way. How did people get news 2,000 years ago? How? Of course, by telling each other, as we mentioned in the first part of the lesson, that people could, of course, 2,000 years ago, could only find the news or knowing the news by talking, speaking to each other, by telling each other what happened. The next question: when did the first newspaper appear? In our lesson, we passed different stages. 2,000 years ago, no newspapers. After 1,000 years ago, the Chinese government invented what we can call it a newspaper, which a piece of silk, and they put it on the wall and they wrote about the government only, or the story of the government only. The country affairs only and not for the people. So, when did the first newspaper appear? 400 years ago. Okay? And of course, it was related, frankly, to the invention of printing in Germany. After that, now let's have this very easy exercise. There puts the news story about the fire on the front page. Who put the news story? Of course, the editor. The editor put the news story on the front page. This is the first one, the first activity. Yes, Reem to join the cookery club. Of course, decided to join the cookery club. Put her mind to join the cookery club. Take a decision of going to the cookery club. Okay? For example, I decided to travel to Mecca last year. So, to take a decision, it is to have a motive to go to a certain place or to do a certain action. Mom lost her ring and we had to for it everywhere. When your mom or my mom or anyone lose something, of course we have to what? Search, look for it everywhere. Of course we can use Google search because we always look at certain things or certain pieces of information or when we Google about things we are searching. So search means to look for. Yes. Ahmed's favorite is all about planes. Favorite what? Editor, news, or magazine? Let's see. Of course, magazine. And by the way, the word magazine is originally from our Arabic language. So we should be proud that some words are taken to the English language from our own language. We have a good language, also the Arabic language. So magazine is like the Arab word bagalla. So magazine is like a colored book which includes pieces of information or news. You know, it's frankly in different specialities, in different topics.
Listen, read and
Now,
answer the
let's
questions. There were no newspaper. When something important happened, people told each other about it. News traveled slowly. Sometimes it was weeks before people heard about a battle or the death of someone. The Chinese government wrote news on silk. It was news about what the government doing. It did not tell people about other things that were.
There were no newspapers, of course, in the past 2000 years ago. When something important happened, people told each other by, okay, telling each other about it. News traveled, of course, very slowly because naturally, because there were no means of transport, okay, and we cannot measure things in the past with our present time. Now everything is fast because we have uh, lots of things which help us to make things in a fast way or in a hurry. You know, sometimes it was weeks before people. The writer here wrote weeks in the text. For me, maybe it was years, but according to the text, it was weeks before people heard about a battle. A battle means a war or the death of a character or a king or someone. Okay, the Chinese government wrote news on silk. Okay, silk is a material like cotton, silk, and wool, and so on. This soft material is called silk. So They wrote news about the government only, or the affairs of the government, and they wrote it on silk. Okay, it did not tell people about other things that were, and then we'll complete the text, of course. I quote this part from the text. I'm going to ask about this part only, and then we'll have more activities about the different parts. Answer the following questions. 1 mark. How did news travel in the past? How? Think. Yes. Let's see. By telling. People used to tell each other about what happened. And we can imagine this, of course, naturally. People didn't find any ways of communication or like telephones, radios, because we are talking about very far past 2,000 years ago. You know, maybe during the age of Christ. So it's a very old time. The government told people about other things that were happening. And will they have news on silk? The government, of course, wrote about the affairs of the country, just the officials or things which belongs to the office of the country and not to the common people. So it's wrong. News travels fast in the past, or now, of course, it's true. News travels fast now, but in the past, no. I try to make it different, frankly. Now I'm travel past, and in the past, of course, in the past, it's wrong. Here it's wrong. There is a mistake. I'm sorry. So it should be wrong here. The Saudi or the Chinese, but if we speak about today, it's of course okay, true. So it should be wrong here. The Saudi or the Sudanese or the Chinese wrote news on silk. Of course, the Chinese. It took years or weeks or months before people heard about a battle. It took weeks. Okay, now we are going, after having this short exercise, we are going to have some more activities. Let's start. Now, my friends, we are going to have activities just to listen and match the activity with the word. Okay, listen. It's better to make it bigger. Yes. As you see here, we have many pictures. We are going to match the pictures with the words.
Rescue.
Rescue, to save someone, to help someone to be safe. I think it's here. Yes.
Mistake.
Mistake, wrong things, which is not correct. Where is it? Yes. 2 plus 2, 5 is 5? No, of course. 2 plus 2 equals 4, not 5. So it's a mistake. It's wrong.
Government.
Government. Okay. Government, like the government of Saudi Arabia,
Government.
Egypt, the government of Jordan, or any government. So means the ministers and maybe other people. It's government. Yes. Not other people, of course, the responsible of the country. Okay.
Search.
Search, to look for, like Google search. It's clear here.
Editor.
Editor. Editor, someone who put things in the front page. I think it's this picture. I'll check now. Yes.
Printing.
Printing. As here, printing. In the past, it was like this. Okay, typewriter like this. But now we can type on the computer.
Injured.
Injured. Someone who has wounds or injuries in his hand, on his leg, anywhere.
Quad.
Quad. Yes.
Reporter.
Reporter. This is reporter. Yeah, someone who goes to the scene of the action or the piece of news and transfer to us what's happening or what was happening. Okay, as we see in some channels like Al Arabiya channels or some newspapers like Al Riyadh or any other place. This is quad, of course.
Quad.
Quad, yes. It's like a motorcycle or a motorbike, as you see here. Now we could match the pictures. Sorry, we could match the pictures now. It should be like this. Yes, we can see Serge. We can see this motorcycle. What? We can see a reporter. Okay. We can see the government. And we match them. I hope that we haven't forgotten any word. Let's check. Yes, Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad, mashallah, and you are great to have such activity. I feel happy when we do activities like this. So my friends, let's move to another activity to practice reading and vocabulary according to the lesson and as time allows. Let's see this activity. Here is we have some question about the text. We started, of course, with our teacher, and we are going to connect the the different questions and answers. So as you see here, I mean the colors. If we cannot have the similar colors together. It's like magnetism, as I mentioned before. Okay, magnets cannot, the poles, the similar poles cannot, they repel, but the different attract. So when we have this color and this color, they can attract because we have a question and answer. Okay, so let's see now, how long did it take to get a news? Of course, we studied, it took weeks, sometimes weeks. Okay, let's see. Yeah, okay, let's go to the other question. What did the photographer do? What is the job of the photographer? Of course, to take pictures or to yeah, it's beside it. It's by chance, of course. I made the exercise and the system arrange them in such a way. When did the first newspaper appear? We said, it appears 4,000 years ago. How did people get the news 2,000 years ago? Of course, by telling each other. Yes. Again, what do reporters do? What do reporters do? Yeah, find out means discover or explore what happened at the scene and write about it. Yes, exactly. What did the Chinese government use to write news on? Which material? It's silk, of course. And we still remember the story of Jamal Awad, who was saved by Khalid Karim in the desert of Qasr al-Sarab in the United Arab Emirates. Yeah. So congratulations. Ad Hawari is really happy and thank you for doing this. Of course, you will do it with me while I'm explaining. Now let's practice reading. Yes, we'll read the text again, but we are going to leave a word in a kind of a closed test, and you are going to continue with me. We have newspaper in the morning and in the evening, of course, according to the texts every day of the week. And millions or thousands of people are of papers, mean newspapers, of course, millions are sold all over the world. Some newspapers have lots of pages, and sometimes there is a separate what? Magazine. They put magazine inside the newspaper, colorful book inside the newspaper. 2. Announcer or reporters. Of course, reporters go to announcers. Maybe the place is in the studio, but the reporters, as we see in Al Arabiya or these news channels, we see reporters go everywhere and speak to us, the viewers, about what they see in the action place or the location of the action. Okay, go to the scene and of the news story and find out what happened. They write about it, and photographers take pictures. The editor reads the reporter's work and decide what will be in the paper. If there are corrections or mistakes, of course, if there are mistakes, wrong things, as we mentioned about the mistakes, the editor will change some words. Sometimes an editor or writer, sometimes, of course, an editor. The editor who says, put it in the front page. This is a very good piece of news. This is a very important piece of news. Because, and he says, it will attract people to read. Anyhow, because of course newspapers, okay, is a trade, of course, it's a business, so we have to attract readers. It says hold the front page. This means a story is very good. We can say excellent, but according to the text, I think it's very good and will appear or disappear, of course, appear on the front page. In addition to, or instead of course, instead of another things, instead of any place of something else. It's very boring or exciting. It's very exciting, of course, for the reporter. It's very good for the reporter and will feel happy. The reporter who was lucky or is lucky to have his piece of news to behold in the front page or on the front page. For the reporter who wrote it, the story on the next page, of course, we discussed before the story of Jamal Awad, who was saved by Khalid Karim in Qasr al-Sarab desert. Was written by a young reporter. It's in the front, it's a front page news. We'll check. Yes, mashallah, you are awesome, and I thank you for doing this. So we have this activity and we concentrated on most of the difficult words in the main text, frankly. Of course, we have shortage of time, but we have some activities, I think, We'll go now, we'll check, and we are going to discuss the other activity with you. I hope this activity is okay. Yes, this is a story again, just to enable you to have a close look to the text. This is a story of a father and his son. We'll do it in a hurry. A father and son saved the life of an injured biker yesterday. Their quick action prevented a terrible disaster, said Rahman Hussein of the search team and rescue. Okay, search and rescue team. Pilot Hazim Abdullah have been in the rescue team. Rescue means to save people for 20 years, and this was one of the most dramatic rescues. Okay, last night Jamal Awad, this is the character we are talking about in this piece of news, was recovering in hospital. He said, I haven't ridden quad bikes. Okay, you can say motorbikes, but quad bikes, it's a close word to the word the bab in Arabic, in Saudi Arabia accent here. So, because as here is used in for the bikers in the mountains. Okay, I have never fallen off quad bike before, but I won't try it alone next time. Khalid Karim and his father were walking in Qasr Sarab desert yesterday. They found a quad biker, Jamal Awad, laying next to his quad bike. Khalid said the man was unconscious, he is fainted, and he cannot realize what's happening around him. And he had some severe injuries. Our mobile phone did not have the mobile phone of the boy Khalid Karim didn't have a signal, so we couldn't tell anyone. While his father was trying to get a signal on his mobile phone, Khalid notes a mobile phone next to Mr. Awad. When he pulled it from under him, he realized it was connected to the search and rescue team. Okay? Team leader, the head of the team or the first of the team, Rahman Hussein, said, Mr. Awad called us, but then he suddenly stopped, I think, speaking. We can say talking maybe, but according to the text, we are sticking to the words of the text or which mentioned in the text. We didn't know where he was. Okay. We waited for a long time. Then we heard Khalid sound or voice. We'll check. The rescue helicopter went straight to the desert and picked up the boy. We may have read words because we are sticking to the text. Okay. Okay, like I forgot a word here. Of course, sunstroke. Yes, exactly. Okay, great. Here are the main words, and I think that we put a summary to the story by having questions, by having the vocab, by having these two closed tests, and by having the different activities of matching. Okay, we can also practice writing. We can change these words into writing. We will have a separate class about writing, but I'll show you something before leaving you. I wish I could do anything which makes things easy to you. I hope it work. Yes. I'm going to look now. As we hear, this is Google. I search. We use the word search to look for something. Okay. Okay. This I search for this website. We'll use it in different games, but I'll select here's game in and write my own activity. Sometimes I encourage my students, frankly, to write their some activities by themselves. Why not? I ask, look at this. It's called ICT games, and this is called. Um, you can write your own activities and send it to me. It's homework. Write your activities and send this activity to me and tell me what did you do. If you want, of course. Okay, look. Here's look at type my own here. We are going to type a sentence or two and then we're going to finalize. We can say, well, I write a sentence, for example, news, traveled, slowly. News, traveled slowly. Okay, when in the past. I'm writing, I'm typing, it's natural. Then in a sentence with a full stop. So I started with the capital letter and ended with a full stop. Okay? Okay. Hide the sentence. Can you arrange the sentence, teacher? Yes, I can. And by arranging this, I know the order of a sentence by subject, verb, object, and so on. News, traveled. Traveled how? Slowly. When in the past. I'll check whether I am right or wrong. Yeah, it means that um, right. Of course, I'm going to leave you. I'm going to have this airplane and leave you now until we meet again. Inshallah, I wish you all the best. Teacher Adel, wishes you all the best. Inshallah. Assalamu